What up? Welcome back to another Commander deck list. Today we're junding it up with Korvold. That's right, we're playing Jund Aristocrats. With more of a land theme, but yeah. Korvold, flying when he enters or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. And whenever you sack permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Korvold and draw a card. He's kind of just a draw engine in the command zone, and he's Jund and cares about sacrificing. But yeah, this is Jund Land Aristocrats because I built the Gruul Toph deck list, and I'm like, what if I added black and made it more aristocratic? And it's kind of really good. It says bracket 2, probably plays closer to like mid bracket 3. But yeah, let's go through the deck, and I'll mention some cards that are a lot better than others. Arcane Signet, obviously just good. Ashnod's Altar is obviously cracked. Sack a creature, add 2 colorless. Yeah. Killing something to draw a card and make mana is really good. Desecrated Tomb, whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, make a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. This is in here because I want to be sacrificing a bunch of earthbended lands. They die, they come back, you make more tokens with it. I think this is a neat card. I want to try and make it work. It's probably not the best card to play in this deck, but I thought it was cool. Skull Clamp, because we're sacking things, this just draws. Soul Ring is ramp, Talisman are all ramp. And yeah, that's really it for artifacts, not many. On the creatures, a Cursed Marauder, 2 mana edict, essentially each player sacrifices a non-token creature. Typically you just sack your own Marauder. I guess you could sack a earthbended land and then it would come back as a land, and yeah, you don't actually lose anything. But yeah, it's in here. As kind of removal, it's an edict effect. Beifong's Bounty Hunters is one of the best cards in the deck. It goes infinite with like a sack outlet and another card. Whenever an non-land creature you control dies, earthbend X, where X is that creature's power. So essentially, a non-land creature, i.e. a token, like a 1/1 token or something, dies, you earthbend 1, where 1, you'd earthbend 1 if it was a 1/1. And then, yeah. This goes infinite with Nesting Dragon, I believe, in a sack outlet. But yeah, we can get to that when a Nesting Dragon comes up. Blood Artist, it's a payoff for sacking or for creatures dying, losing opponents lose life, you gain life. Carrion Feeder is obviously just a really strong sack outlet. 1 mana, sacrifice a creature, so there's no other bonus cost. Earth Village Ruffians, 3 mana, 3/1. When it dies, Earthbend 2. This means when it dies, it makes another creature, which you can then also kill off to draw more cards. Avendo Brush Razor, I'm playing around with this card. I think it's interesting. Whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, exile top card of your library. And during your turn, as long as you sacrifice a non-token permanent, you can play cards exiled with this creature. I think it's a lot cooler than a lot of the other exile-based red effects that only let you play until the end of your next turn. This guy's just kind of, as long as the effect is activated, you can use that. And you can sack a land for 2 red, which is nice. It works with itself. Famished Worldsire. I think this card is kind of a meme in this deck. I just really like it. And yeah. Devour Land 3, so ideally you just eat all your earthbended lands and then they come back either way. And then you also ramp a bunch with the ETB effect. Judy, one of many. Black, tap, surveil 1, make a token that's a copy of this creature, then sacrifice an artifact or creature, activate only as a sorcery. Obviously you can just sacrifice the copy that you made with her. It's essentially 1 mana, tap, surveil 1, draw a card with Korvold. But yeah. You could also, sack an earthbended land, sack another token, and then have like 2 duties on board. Jury, Master of Review. Whenever you sack permanent, put a 1/1 counter, and then whenever it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Obviously, this is a good finisher if you have kind of loops going on board. Longfang, Grand Secretariat. Whenever another creature you control or a land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. This card's kind of alright. Like, there's probably better cards to play with this, but in this deck than this card. But yeah, this will just make your guys big, especially Korvold being a flyer. It's not too hard to hit somebody for 21 commander damage with this deck. Marionette Apprentice, 2 mana, 1/2, fabricate 1. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Notably, artifact is also useful because we can make treasures in the deck as well, and that will obviously be a payoff for Marionette Master or Marionette Apprentice. And then yeah, when it enters, you also just make a 1/1 artifact creature. Mayhem Devil. Whenever player sacrifices a permanent, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. Obviously, it works really well when we're sacrificing a bunch of things. Nesting Dragon, this was the other half of the combo with the Beifong people. Landfall, make a 0/2 red dragon, and then when that dragon dies, you make a 2/2 dragon. The whole combo is, as long as Nesting Dragon is on board, you have another creature, and the Beifong guys, Beifong bounty hunters, I should call them what their name is, give them a little bit of respect. You sack the 2/2 red dragon, earthbend 2, sack the land, it comes back, landfall, make the 0/2, sack the egg, sack the dragon. You have infinite sack triggers, and if you have like a Phyrexian altar, you have infinite colorless mana. If you have a Blood Artist or something like that, you have infinite damage. Pitiless Plunderer, whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure. Obviously this is good when we're sacking a lot of creatures. Poison Tip Archer, whenever another creature dies, each opponent will lose 1 life. This one also just has Reach Death Touch, which is why I'm playing it instead of, there's a bunch of black like 3-drop ones that do the same thing. Priest of the Forgotten Gods, 2 mana, sack 2 creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life, sack a creature, you add 2 black and draw a card. So that with Korvold, this actually draws you 2 cards, which is nice. Actually draws 3 cards, because yeah, 2 sacks. But yeah, it's a good card. Yeah, a lot of just good black and like Jund color sacrifice payoffs. Steve, it sacks itself to ramp, which will draw off of your commander, obviously, so it's a little bit better than just the sorcery that does it. And yeah, it's a 1/1 creature. Springbloom Druid, when it enters, sack a land, search your library for 2 basics, put them on battlefield, tap and shuffle. This is whatever, I can't remember the whole thing. I know Harrow is one of them. But yeah, it's one of those. And usually you just target an earthbended land. It comes back and you technically just ramp too. Safekeeper, sack a land, target creature gains Shroud. Obviously earthbended lands make this a lot better. Tireless Provisioner, landfall, make a food or a treasure. Usually it's just treasure, because then you can sack it and easily for free and then get a draw of Korvold. Other Tracker, landfall, make a clue token. I think this one's a little bit worse, if I'm being honest. I could see cutting this card for a different payoff, but yeah, I just wanted to do a bit of landfall stuff. Toph, this is obviously one of the super broken cards in the deck. Whenever you cast a spell, earthbend 1, when it enters, discard a card, return into sorcery is kind of whatever. But yeah, casting a spell, earthbend 1 is pretty broken. You can sack the land you earthbended, draw a card. If that card's a spell, you can then use that spell, sacrificing with mana from like a Phyrexian altar that you used to sacrifice the earthbended land, and you kind of just go off from there. Viscerseer, obviously just another sack a creature outlet that is free. Zulaport Cutthroat, whenever another creature, this creature or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. It's a way to win through sacrificing stuff. On the enchantments, Awakening Zone, it ramps you with Eldrazi spawns that can also sacrifice themselves for colorless. Bastion of Remembrance makes a token, and whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1, you gain 1, so it's a win con. Blight Mound is attacking pests get +1/+0, have menace, kind of whatever. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, make a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. With when this token dies, you gain a life. This also goes infinite with the Beifong Bounty Hunters. This is just a different hit than the Nesting Dragon that makes 2/2s. Earthbender's Ascension. When it enters Earthbend 2, then you ramp 1, and landfall, put a quest counter. Once you have 4 or more, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, it gains trample. So another way to win if you just make your commander big enough. Golgari Germination. I don't know why my Architect is being slow. Very cool. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. It's another payoff with the Balon guys. Solid Ground, when it enters Earthbend 3, and then if one or more 1/1 counters put on permanent you control, that many +1 are put on instead. I kind of just like this for the Earthbend 3. The +1/+1 counters, I guess that helps with Korvold, getting him twice as big, but he doesn't really have that much of a problem with this deck. On the instance, Abrupt Decay, destroy something mana value 3 or less, obviously just a really strong card. Assassin's Trophy, destroy permanent opponent controls, and then they ramp a basic, again just a really solid card. Beast Within destroys permanent as well. Chaos Warp, put a permanent into the library, and then yeah, obviously just a lot of really good removal in these colors. Cycle of Renewal, sack a land, get 2 basics tapped. Deadly Dispute, sack a creature or a artifact, and then draw 2, make a treasure. Obviously, this is even better if you're targeting something like a clue or a treasure. You're just replacing a treasure or just ramping one. Entis Restoration, sack a land, get a 2 basics tapped, and then if you control a creature with power 4 greater, aka your commander, instead you get 3 and put them on a battlefield tapped, so it's a little better than the other line. Unlike Harrow, which is sack a land, search for 2 basics, put them on the battlefield. These ones don't come in tapped. Pretty sick. Lightning Bolt is Lightning Bolt. I kind of just like playing this in red decks. I don't know. It's really funny when somebody like goes down to 2 and you can just Lightning Bolt them for game. Origin of Metal Bending, destroy an artifact or enchantment, or you can put a 1/1 counter on a creature. It gains indestructible, so it's protection or removal. Overwhelming Victory deals 5 damage to a creature. Each creature gets trample plus X plus 0, where X is the amount of excess damage dealt this way. I'm 50-50 on this card. I kind of like it, but also the more I play it, the more I'm like, I don't have 7 creatures on board for this to be a massive payoff. I have like maybe 2. No, I mean, giving Korvold trample late game is pretty good, but yeah, this card could probably be something better. Putrefy, 3, destroy an artifact or creature can't be regenerated. Reign of Filth. This card is low-key really good in this deck specifically until end of turn lands get sack this land to add a black. This is like even crazier with Toph on board because you sack a land that's earthbended, you draw a card, you make a mana, and then like if you keep casting spells with the cards you're drawing, you can keep sacrificing the earthbended lands for Reign of Filth. Roiling Regrowth, sack a land, get 2 basics, tap battlefield tapped. Obviously this is just like all the ramp we're running. Terror Sunder, you can kick it for 1 in the black as well. And then exile target artifact enchantment. If it was kicked, exile target non-land permanent. So this can just hit anything for 4 mana or target artifact or enchantment for 2. Tragic Slip, if a creature died, give something -13/-13 or -1/-1. Almost always the -13/-13 is active. This card is super good in Commander. I'm going to ignore the lands for now because there's nothing too crazy. On the sorceries though, Blasphemous Act, obviously a really good board wipe. Blasphemous Edict, also obviously another very good board wipe. Cracked Earth Technique, Earthbend 3, you gain 3 life. This is mainly in here for the double Earthbend 3. Like, yeah, it's just in here to get more sack outlets going. Dread Return, you can sack 3 creatures to return something or just pay 4. Honestly, this card, again, sacrificing 3 creatures is kind of rough in this deck sometimes when you don't see the right cards. So it's not always super good, but yeah. Epic Downfall, 2 mana, exile target creature with CMC 3 or greater. I think this card is probably a little slept on, probably because it's sorcery speed, and there's definitely like better black removal spells, but yeah. Feed the Swarm, destroy a creature enchantment. And opponent controls you lose life equal to the mana value, kind of whatever. It's 2 mana, destroy a creature enchantment, which is pretty good. Seismic Sense, again, I think this is a card that might be a little slept on, at least in Commander. Look at top X cards where X number of lands, reveal a creature or land, put that into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Especially if you're playing like a deck that can ramp pretty hard in green, I think Seismic Sense is like almost an auto-include at this point. And then Victimize, choose 2 target creatures, sack a creature. If you do, return those chosen creatures to the battlefield tapped. I think this card goes in like every black deck, and I'll probably sit on that opinion until the day I die. But yeah, just a good card. I'll quickly go through the lands. There's 37 because we are just playing a lot of like the Roiling Regrowth type stuff, so I wanted to run quite a few basics for 3 color. But I'm also just running a lot of like fetches and stuff, so I had to bump it up. Notably, Bossing Say, you can pay 3, Earthbend 2, which is super good in this deck with sack outlets. We're playing the good dual lands just because they're probably going to be cheap when Morrowind comes out. I look at, where is it? I'm not sure where. Stomping Ground. Stomping Ground is down to $6 on TCG Player, or probably like 7 on Card Kingdom. We can check. Thanks, Architect. Oh, $9 still. It's like, I don't know, Shocklands being this cheap is really, really good. I'd recommend picking up a set, especially with the Morrowind ones when they drop. Unfortunately, what's not cheap are fetch lands. These fetch lands are kind of expensive, and I mean, yeah, total deck price 182, lands are 107 of those. Unfortunately, fetch lands are really good in this deck because of Korvold with the sacrificing permanents. You can always play like the cheap ones that come in tapped, and then like a spelunking or something that can let them come in untapped. Be a little cheaper, but a little less good. Besides that, things that enter tapped unless you control 2 or more basics, because we're playing so much like Roiling Regrowth stuff, Cinderglade and will typically come in untapped. Fabled Passage, obviously just another sack to get one. High Market is a sack outlet, good utility land. Path of Ancestry because we're playing 3 color. Reliquary Tower because we draw a lot of cards. The Triome because this one is cheap. The new Capenna ones are thankfully pretty cheap. Unfortunately, the Ikoria ones are not. But yeah, we're just playing like the on-color fetches and then the basics and chalks and like a few utility lands. Yeah. On the Maybeboard, these are cards I was running or I thought about running, but I was like, doesn't fit. Academy Manufacturer. If I could more reliably get a Tireless Tracker or a Tireless Provisioner on board, I think Academy Manufacturer would be super good in this deck. Unfortunately, they don't always show up in every game, so this card is kind of dead half the time. Braids is kind of just a really good card, that's why it's here. Yeah. Eternal Witness, I think is probably really playable, but again, just no space. You could take out one of the worst cards for it if you want a little more reliability. Firelord Ozai is in here specifically because originally I wanted to build something with Jumbo Cactuar and Firelord Ozai. This attacks gets makes it 10,000. And then Ozai, when it attacks, you can sack creature for essentially 10,000 red mana, which is really funny. And then you just exile everybody's library and win the game with your 10,000 red mana. Yeah, that's the only reason why these were originally in the deck, and I took them out because I'm like, this is a little goofy. But if you want to play goofy, it's in Jund colors, so you can play it. Goblin Bombardment was originally in the deck, but I thought I had enough sack outlets, so I got rid of it. Grave Pact is in the sideboard because edicts are just really, really mean. Yeah, if you play an edict in this deck, you're most likely just going to have the board perma-cleared unless somebody's playing like elves or tokens. But yeah. Ignoble Hierarch was originally in the deck, and then I took it out because I'm like, is this mana dork good enough to play? It probably is, if I'm being honest, but who cares? And then Mahadi, I'm debating this at the beginning of your end set. Make treasure token for each creature that died this turn. It's an artifact, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if you're sacrificing a lot of creatures, this is really good. And then the treasures obviously can be sacrificed to Korvold as well for more draw. So I think this card is probably really playable in the deck. Mazarek Crawl Death Priest. That's why it's on the deck because I can't pronounce it. No, just kidding. Kind of because it's 5 mana. I mean, 5 mana 2/2. Whenever players acts permanent, put a lone counter on each creature. Again, I just don't think the deck goes wide enough to justify this. If the deck went like really wide, I'd say go for it. This is crazy. And then Warren Soul Trader, pay a life, sack creature, make a treasure. It's another good sack outlet, but it's just kind of pricey, which is why I didn't want to put it in the deck. I mean, 3 mana for sack outlet when you just could play Viscera Seer and a Carrion Feeder, and then also Sylvan Safekeeper for all your earthbended land creatures. Like, this goes crazy. You could probably just put this. You could probably put Warren Soul Trader, Mahadi, and like Academy Manufacturer in the deck and be like, boom, I'm now playing Treasure Land Aristocrat Jund, and you're still drawing a bunch of cards because Korvold and sacking treasures. Make all your treasures into creatures as well, and then you have like Carrion Feeder and Viscera Seer being able to sack them if you really need to. But yeah, that's the deck. I'll quickly go over Rex. I was kind of looking at stuff before this. I mean, it looks like very just basic. Chatterfang, yeah, you know, playing more treasures, throw in Chatterfang. This card's really good. Lightning Greaves is probably recommended. There's no huge way to protect Korvold in this deck, if I'm being honest. That's something I didn't really think about when I built the deck. Might be a bit of a flaw, say if you're playing heavy removal groups or groups that just like killing Korvold on site because he's Korvold. 1, fair, 2, play more protection stuff. Obviously, green has a lot of ways to make creatures indestructible. I think black has a lot of ways to bring creatures back when they die on a turn. Reanimate, but we're not doing enough like graveyard stuff. Intent isn't actually bad, but I just don't love playing tutors in a lot of my decks. You got the super good cards, Deflecting Swat, Demonic Tutor. What's that good card? I can't remember its name. Deadly Relic, that's what it is. Ice Hill is obviously super good. Dark Ritual and Phyrexian. This will get you to your commander faster. Phyrexian Tower is just super good. Sack creature, add 2 black. Bootlegger Stash is pretty interesting. Again, if you want to go with more of a treasure theme, might as well go Bootlegger Stash. Zorn as well. If making treasures, make more. Toxic Deluge is an amazing board wipe, but I thought Blasphemous Act, Blasphemous Edict were probably good enough. Terminate is amazing removal. Jund is somehow an insanely good color when I look at the cards. Horizon Explorer, this card's crazy. I actually think this card's really nice. Vamp Tutor. Revelin Riches if you're playing. Like, there's so many amazing cards. Gitrog Monster to put in this deck that I just kind of haven't. But yeah, you could make this like way more nasty, but it would, I think, go off. It would get off the Earthbender thing, which I wanted to try and make it do. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry I didn't upload last week. I realized I didn't like the 5-color shrine deck, even though every card was legendary, including the lands. So I'm just not going to cover that deck. I'm going to work on something else and then see what I get. Till then, have a good new year, because I'm recording this on the 29th. Bye-bye.